Living abroad is an absolutely fantastic experience. And you know what makes it even better? Sharing the adventure with others. Introducing Black Culture Trek 2024. Get ready to join me on a journey that will sweep you off your feet as we dive into the mesmerizing influence of African Americans and Black culture in Europe. From the fearless soldiers of World War I to the incredible artists and writers who've left an indelible mark on European culture. This isn't just a trip. It's a journey of a lifetime. We're going to explore iconic landmarks, dive headfirst into vibrant cultures, and soak in the historical significance of places like James Baldwin's home in Paris, the thriving Black culture in London, and the hidden gems of Brussels. Get ready for an experience that's going to leave you with memories to cherish forever. Don't let this extraordinary adventure slip through your fingers. Okay, so hello everyone. I am Dr. Raquel, and thank you so much for joining us on Best Life Abroad, Not Your Average Travel Podcast. So today we will be speaking with Sunya, who has relocated to Mexico, and she is going to be talking to us about her experiences, sharing her insights, and all the tips on how you can make the decision for yourself to move abroad. So thank you so much, Sunya, for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
So excited to have you. So yes. So first, if you can just share with us kind of what motivated you, like you're living in the US, living your best life, and then you're like, actually, I can live a different best life abroad. So what motivated you to make that decision to go abroad?
Well, for me, it was not an immediate decision because I've been thinking about it for over 30 years.
Mm.
And about 30 years ago, a colleague of mine and I were fairly recent divorced and single moms, and we decided that we were going to practice social work in London. But just because of the everyday demands of trying to run our practices, take care of our children, do what we needed to do, keep food on the table. I mean, we just at that time just did not have the energy to take on another whole learning endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
We figured we probably could, probably do something maybe with the State Department or find some ways to integrate. But we didn't have any entries or any inroads into that particular movement at that time. And then we just kind of got caught up in just, living our lives with our children. And then we had, and then, we were just dealing with some things in our own professional careers because of the stance that we had taken about racism. So we found ourselves shortly after that kind of blackballed from traditional work. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to, at that point in time, really start focusing on building our businesses, and that really took up our energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, life happened. My friend got breast cancer, her mother got sick, her mother died. I began to take care of my children, just life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after my mother had passed away, after my youngest daughter finished grad school and she was starting her career, I saw that little window of opportunity and I took it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had been thinking about it for a while. And what happened for me was I actually came to Mexico on an artist residency. In addition to being a clinician, I am a textile and designer and artist, and I was here to take some time out just to kind of refocus and spend some time working on a project. And I just fell in love with where I was and decided I came from June to August to Chapala, Mexico. And before I left here in August, I had an apartment and I moved here in December.
Love it. You said yes, this is it. We're not playing these games. I
Right,
like
right.
it. Awesome. Yay. And so, as a lot of people who listen to this podcast are interested in moving abroad, but still kind of dabbling with the idea. So,
Hmm.
for those who are still on the fence about, can I actually make this a real thing and make this happen? What advice would you give to them? And even maybe first steps on how to get the process started and how to best prepare for the move?
I think the first thing really is to take a trip. That's the first thing. It's one thing to intellectualize about something, kind of think, well, but you're not going to be able to get the information you need through the eyes of someone else.
Hmm.
You can get some general pointers, of course, as you know, but you really have to have your feet on the ground. And I think once your feet are on the ground, then all sorts of things open up for you because you are actually in context. I would also say that you probably are not going to need as much money as you think to make that move. However, it is important to find a way to set aside some time for an extended break. And what I mean by an extended break is if you're a person who normally takes a 2 week vacation, then take 4. If you are accustomed to taking a month off of work, then take 2. I feel it's really important that you allow yourself enough time to unhook from your typical routine to really get a sense of what the new environment and experience would feel like. And also on this USA platform, we are all on a to some degree some kind of rat race or maze because that's American culture. It's the global capitalist culture that we are all victimized by. So to be able to unhook from that and to feel a different rhythm, I think is really, really important. But you have to get your feet on the ground. So I would say the first step really is just to take an extended break. Put your finger on the map, choose where you want to go, save up or whatever you have to do, skip whatever bill you have to pay, maybe one bill, but not two. Um,
Mhm.
and get your feet on the ground, have the experience and consider it part of getting some of the rest that you need so that you can make a good informed decision. And I think once you make that first trip and you see how it works out, then it'll be easier for you to envision the second step.
I love that advice. I love, love, love that advice. And I think this may be the first time that we're hearing that advice. But I think that advice is so important because it allows you to really visualize yourself in a place. Also,
Exactly.
I think sometimes it's like, well, I love this place as a tourist. And then you see people who move there and they're like, this was the worst experience I ever had. And I'm like,
Mhm.
as a tourist, is a very different experience than
Yes,
a person who has to eat and go to the grocery store and speak a language and, all the things.
that's
Um,
right.
and then also disrupting that normal is super important because, like you said, I think one of the reasons why I created Best Life Abroad is because so often people were like, oh, I wish I could move abroad. It's so amazing that you lived abroad. And I'm like, yeah, anybody can do this. But part of it is actually making a decision to make it happen. But the other part of that is really thinking that it's something that is realistic. And so I think so
Hmm.
often people are like, oh, it sounds so amazing, but don't really all the way fully believe that it's realistic. But once you disrupt it for a little bit, then you're like, wow, this is something that actually I don't have to be stressed all the time. I don't have to
Right,
be worried about being a Black person all the time. I don't have
right,
to be worried about my safety all the time. And just being able to remove some of that mental load in spaces, that is just so powerful. And once you get like a little taste of that, then you can really see how it could continue. So I love that advice. I really, really
absolutely.
do. Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's really exciting to me is I'm in a I'm in a growing community of Black women, and husbands are starting to come now. Grandchildren are coming through. One of my daughters has come to visit. She's they're the other one is trying to get herself in a position to where she can come with her son. Um, but we have a really growing community here. There have been some women here that have been here for 19 years,
Wow.
and they are really excited to see more people coming. And uh, what's exciting for me about that is seeing what the future can be. There are a number of women here in their 70s and in their 80s, and they look fabulous
Hmm.
because they're living a different life.
Hmm.
So so for me, the decision to move abroad also is about maintaining some longevity and health,
Mm-hmm.
as well as removing myself from a certain degree of stress, um, taking myself out of that rat race so that I
Mm-hmm.
could hear myself think. But I have to say, I've been here for 2 years now, and every day I just see how I'm, I'm still letting go of different layers of burnout. I am still recovering from United States burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
every time I come home, I go to the US, fairly often. I have been going fairly often. I'm going to be going less often now. Um, but it takes me a few days to decompress.
Mm-hmm.
And in talking to other people, it's a very common experience. So now when I come back from the US, because I just got back here on Saturday, I allow myself the next day to stay in bed all day if I need to. And then the day after that, if, but it takes me 2 or 3 days to get to where I'm feeling I'm ready to engage again.
Wow, that's really powerful. For sure. And you touched on it some, just when you said, like, you got there and then you found your place to stay and even the
Hmm.
importance of your health. Can you talk to us a little bit about, so some of the largest questions for people who are interested in moving abroad are, how will I get income? Where will I live? What will I have? How will I secure health?